People of the internet, today Kill Tony hit Netflix, and guess what? I watched it so you didn't have to, and let me tell you, I'm doing you a favor on this one because it's bad, and it's just not my subjective taste. It's actually really bad. So today we will be taking a look at what went wrong, the mistakes were made, and how Tony better shape up really fast before people stop watching altogether. And now, let us begin the first installment in my investigative series into Kill Tony and why the show is absolute shit. We will begin by examining the first episode, the first 25 minutes, and identifying all of the mistakes, the people who bombed, and where the show fell flat. Go grab your coffee, grab your joint, and don't forget your Inspector Gadget detective manual, because the investigation begins now.
Every single week, I book some of the funniest or most intelligent guests to sit here with us and watch people advance or make it or break it as stand-up comedians. This week, no different. Who better to have as guests here in Austin, Texas than two Austin residents, two icons, two of the most influential men in all of the world. I present to you tonight's guests, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk.
And there it is, your first guests, an Elon impersonator and Joe Rogan. Now, Elon sort of makes sense because you can play off of it and make lots of jokes because of the political atmosphere Elon has around him at the moment. But when Tony said one of the funniest comedians and Joe Rogan in the same sentence, it absolutely made no sense. Joe Rogan is not even funny. In fact, this is just Tony kissing the ring, because you have to remember in the Rogansphere, you must kiss the ring if you want to suck Joe's ding-a-ling.
Comedy's back. So cool. So cool. Netflix. So cool. My best friend Joe Rogan. He thinks I'm so funny though, right?
And this is the moment that Joe Rogan realizes the Elon impersonator was a bad idea. And he's looking for any way out, but he can't find one. He realizes he's trapped on this stage until the show ends. And I don't feel sorry for you, Mr. Rogan, because you created this whole Kill Tony Netflix thing in the first place. You allowed it to happen, and you allowed Tony on Netflix, so now you must suffer.
My best friend Joe Rogan.
I had a date. We went to a restaurant, and I let her pick the restaurant. That's where I fucked up. Because it ain't gonna be Denny's. When you walk into a restaurant, you see that fucking chandelier. You're like, you dirty bitch. It was one of those restaurants, where the menu doesn't even have prices. I thought I got a broken menu.
And Ari Matti bombed in front of the world on Netflix, and the crowd was silent, the panel was silent, and even Joe Rogan noticed.
Ari, how hard is it to do that, to do a new minute every week? And how much of a pain in the ass is it to not be able to just work on bits?
Yeah, there is a certain pain in the ass for sure, but there's also the fucking excitement, when you walk out here.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm in a fucking movie, You walk out here, you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I was hoping you'd keep the Netflix thing maybe on the DL, but obviously when I walked out, I'm like, okay, it's obvious. Okay, biggest platform in the world, first Estonian on it. It's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Really cool. Did it?
It's on. I'm trying a bit that I've tried 4 times and I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the response Joe Rogan gives Ari Matti, because he acknowledges he bombed, and somewhere in that little conversation, so does Ari Matti. So congratulations to the first Estonian on Netflix to bomb live.
all of my friends have seen everyone's dick. I know exactly. I could pick them from a lineup. And it's just crazy that I've seen none of your dicks.
Well. Tonight's the night, Ari.
Elon Musk, what a incredible retarded man. And we're gonna use his retarded powers for good.
That's right.
And we are doing that, and it's great to be here.
There's some people in this bucket that are over 200 years old. We'll get to the bottom of that, though. We'll go
He's
ahead, Tony.
exactly right,
Yeah,
and it
right.
is a
Yeah.
disgusting disgrace what this show has become. There's 200-year-old men in that
Yeah.
bucket, and Elon's gonna sniff them out like a
That's right.
retarded truffle pig.
Right. Yeah.
My suggestion for Tony Hinchcliffe is to take all of the Shane Gillis clips, cut the rest of the show out, splice them together, and that would be a very successful episode of Kill Tony. In fact, probably the only one you'll ever have.
I'm Vietnamese and Jewish, which makes me a Viet Jew. God bless you. I was I was adopted by Jewish parents, and the way they found me was floating in a basket down by the river. Oh no, wrong Jew. Sorry, wrong Jew. They actually use technology. They use something called Cash App.
The man bombs terribly, and that's not unexpected. That's usually what happens on Kill Tony. What was unexpected was the lengths that Tony would go to tear this man apart, because during his interview, Tony doesn't just surface level make fun of the man. He begins to tear apart the most vulnerable parts of this man's life.
And how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
About 5 years.
5 years. Where at?
In LA, like Ice House and some other places.
The Ice House or the Rice House?
Oh,
Come on.
Tony, not again.
Definitely the Rice House.
Perfect. Would you consider that your best minute that you have? Or were you trying something new here? What's going on exactly?
Could have been better. Could have been better.
Well, we know that. That's not what I asked you. The question was, is that like the best minute that you've ever written? Is that like, are you like, I'm going to go out on Kill Tony and show him 5 years, my best minute? Or is that like something you wrote on the way here?
I definitely did write it on the way here.
Okay.
I'm not that.
What do you do for work, Kai?
I actually used to be a banker.
You used to be a banker. Well,
Correct.
we know which side you got that from. Oh. The old famous Vietnamese bankers. You were married. When did you
Correct.
get divorced?
2019.
Okay, so 6 years ago. How long were you married for?
About 8 years.
Okay. And why did it not work out, do you think?
Well, I think it was because I was Jewish.
Is there maybe some other reasons why it didn't work out?
He
It was definitely not a me problem.
He not funny. He work at bank all day.
Tony, it's going
And
down.
we're off. I'm getting word the show has been canceled. It was a good run. First show to last 14 minutes on Netflix ever. Very interesting. Kai, what's something about your life that we would find interesting about you?
Being adopted. into a Jewish family. Yeah.
So you're really 100% Vietnamese, but you were adopted by Jewish people.
Yes.
Okay, and was that from Vietnam to America?
No, I was already in America when I got adopted.
Right. Interesting. Why do you think your Vietnamese parents gave you up for adoption?
Jesus, Tony.
And here's the point that Tony has to remind those that are not laughing that it's your fault. It's your fault you're not laughing because you're too easily offended. And if you came here and thought you weren't going to get offended, well, you're in the wrong place.
I mean, this is how I would treat a normal show. I know this is shocking. Let me remind the new viewers on Netflix, if you've ever been offended by anything, you will be offended by this show. And you're 2 clicks away from John Mulaney. So just go over there, and then you'll be fine. He's not gonna offend you. This will. This is for people who don't get offended. Back to your parents giving you up. Are you comfortable talking about it?
Yeah, totally.
Right, exactly.
And just like that, he had destroyed that man's confidence and also had destroyed half of his potential audience. Because by using racial slurs and picking at a man's vulnerabilities, he had drawn lines in the sand and made people choose if Tony is a good man or not. And even Joe Rogan spoke up and said something to Tony, and Tony still persisted. I think Netflix could have been big for Tony, but I think Tony's going to draw the same reaction that he draws from the people on YouTube. Because Tony is a narcissist and he can only think of himself. People will see him as mean, vindictive, manipulative, revengeful, and ultimately people will be turned off just like they are on YouTube. Because we all know at the end of the day, Tony has only one goal: to try to take over the world.
Know you like to bang, you don't stand.